On behalf of the University of Dubuque and the Office of Advancement, welcome to the 2019 Heritage Society Dinner. This is really our official kickoff to homecoming weekend, and it's one of our favorite events. So, last count, and I know Elton in the back of the room will probably correct me, but last count, it was over 600 registrants this year. So, welcome home, everyone. We're so thrilled to have you here. Now, you might have noticed when you came in and found a seat that there were students sitting at your tables. They are our hosts for the evening. Could the students in the room, please stand and be recognized? We are so pleased to have each of you here, and we're so proud of you and all your accomplishments, and we know that you guys are going to really enjoy getting to know this fabulous group of students that's here with us this evening. So before we get to know each other better over dinner, I'd like to welcome Pastor Bruce Hedgepeth for our invocation. You got it.
All right.
That's the best thing to do.
Yeah, so great to be here this evening. I am a seminary graduate from 1995 and got to be out at the new Babka Aviation facility for the dedication there. What a thrill, and so really an appropriate kind of segue to this Legacy Society, that legacy that Ed Babka and his love of aviation. And so as we begin, let's give thanks. God, we are grateful for this day, for the beauty of it, this time of year here in the upper Midwest, this opportunity to be a part of what you are doing through this mission known as University of Dubuque. We're grateful for the time to be together around tables, for the many people in this room who have made a commitment, like the commitment that Ed Babka made, maybe not with the same number of zeros, but a commitment to your continuing work through through the University of Dubuque. We're grateful for the students who are here that we will get to break bread with, for the way you're at work in each one of their lives, calling them for the purpose that you have created them. We pray that through what happens in classes and with professors and in student life activities, that they will discover their true calling and purpose. We're grateful for this food, for the warm hospitality in this place at the Dubuque Country Club. And we pray that we would have a sense of your Spirit's presence and guidance all throughout this evening. Thank you for the blessings that you pour out in each of our lives. We commit this time to your purpose. And all God's people said, Amen.
Thank you so much. We are going to continue the festivities this evening by welcoming new Heritage Society members. So, Dr. Bullock, would you like to come up and join me, please? Unfortunately, due to travel schedules, our first new members were unable to be with us this evening, but I wanted to share a little bit about them because they are here with us, even though they're not here with their physical presence. Dick and Penny Duncan. Dick Duncan graduated from UD in 1972 with a degree in history. He made a career at John Deere, and Penny was a teacher in the Dubuque Public Schools. Currently, they are enjoying their time in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, with their 2 children and their 2 grandchildren. So join me in welcoming them, and we will present their certificate to them at a later time. Also joining us and unable to be with us is Alice Harris, and Alice is spunky and wishes that she could be here with all of us tonight. Let me just tell you that. Graduating in the class of 1958 with a major in philosophy, she was a reporter for the Q newspaper and owned her own business, Harris Services. She's active in the Davenport community, volunteering for a number of organizations, and we are grateful to Alice for her commitment to UD and also to the Duncans for their commitment. Liz Hines is with us this evening. Liz, would you come and join us, please? She graduated from the University of Dubuque in 1987, majoring in computer information systems. She currently serves as the executive director for Mercy One Dyersville Foundation. And as a recipient of student scholarships herself, Liz hopes to return the favor for future UD students. Thank you for your commitment, Liz. Don Hunter is also joining us this evening, and we all need to give a very big welcome home to Don, who's joining us for the first time in 40 years, hasn't been back in 40 years. A graduate from the class of 1955, I'm told Don absolutely loved his time at UD. He developed a lifelong friendship with Lloyd Alamshaw, who's with him at his table this evening, and now resides in Durham, North Carolina, and spent a career working at Boeing in Seattle. He hopes that today's generation of students have as magical an experience at UD as he did. Thank you, Don, for your commitment to UD. Now I'm delighted to introduce this evening's keynote speakers. I had the opportunity to spend some time with Dr. Hoffman and Allison Mitchell as they prepared their presentation. And let me tell you, you are in for a treat. Visiting with our alumni, it's no doubt that faculty and staff make an impact on the experience for our students. In our travels, we hear names like Wallace, Knox-Coit, Kramer, Aitchison, Taylor, and Welch. And what Adam doesn't know is that Hoffman is already on that list. One of our own advancement team members shared with me that taking just one class with Dr. Hoffman had him contemplating changing his major. Dr. Hoffman is the director of the Clapity and Butler Summer Fellowship Programs, was the first Dorothy Taylor Chair in Chemistry, is a past Wendt Character Faculty Mentor, and current Wendt Center Advisory Board member. And by the way, this is a true story. His CV is 13 pages because as I was thinking about putting this introduction together, I thought, well, I should probably, review the official documents. So basically what that translates to me is that he's awesome, and we're very fortunate to have him at the University of Dubuque. Co-presenting with him is Allison Mitchell. Allison grew up in Dubuque and graduated from UD in the class of 2018 with a degree in sociology and was active in a variety of different organizations on campus. She was also voted Sociology Student of the Year. She currently serves as a social worker at Iowa Legal Aid, where she works with parents involved with the juvenile court system. During one of our conversations earlier this fall, she shared with me that as a non-traditional student, she thought she would just come to UD, and in her words, she wanted to get in and get out with her degree. Instead, she's become a part of a community. Allison's spouse, Jacob, is here, and they are parents to Ruth, who will be celebrating her first birthday next week. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Adam Hoffman and Allison Mitchell.
Well, thank you, Melissa, for that wonderful introduction. On behalf of Allison and myself, we would like to congratulate and thank the newest Heritage Society members. What a delight it was to get the invitation to speak to this group tonight. The prospect of being able to share stories, statistics, and Loris jokes with folks that are just as passionate about UD's success is exciting. Okay, fine, one quick one to wake us up from our food comatose. How many Loris freshmen does it take to change a light bulb? None, that's a sophomore level class. It gets better, it gets better. What I didn't anticipate was how fun preparing this talk was going to be. Working with UD Advancement staff and reaching out and meeting with alumni and current faculty and staff not only gave us great talking points, but also really drove home an important point. The University of Dubuque has made, is making, and will continue to make a profound and meaningful impact on students, their success from all across Iowa, from all across the Midwest, from the US, and all across the world. The University of Dubuque is only as strong as the people guiding and living out its mission. Every day, thanks to the people in this room, I am blessed with the opportunity to empower students to utilize service, scholarship, and leadership to make the world a better place. Moving between buildings, offices, green spaces, and classrooms donated by and named after many of the people in this room, teaching students that are recipients of scholarships donated by and named after many of the people in this room. I live my calling at a university that owes its existence and continued excellence to not some, but all of the people in this room.
Tonight we're going to discuss the improbable. You will hear 4 stories about alumni, faculty, and staff that will amaze you, inspire you, and move you. All of these stories will have one thing in common: the University of Dubuque. First, we will tell you our story and why we are up here this evening. But to do so, we must journey into the past a bit. It was Wednesday, May 15th, 2011. The temperature was 80 degrees and sunny, and I had just stepped off the plane at LAX. I thought, I'm never going back to Dubuque.
It was Thursday, January 24th, 2008. I was preparing for my interview at the University of Dubuque. I had just looked at the University of Dubuque's website. I thought, why am I wasting my time? I'm never going to accept a job at the University of Dubuque.
It
was Tuesday, January 6th, 2016.
I was taking a class called Sustainable UD.
I was teaching a class called Sustainable UD. In this class, we explore how humanity can positively impact the future of our planet as the students investigate the environmental, economic, and societal implications of creating a more sustainable college campus. I passed out the student information sheet that each student would fill out. The sheet is chock full of questions, including some academic ones. How do you learn best? What are your strengths and weaknesses as a student? And personal. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? It was something on that sheet of one of the nursing majors in class that immediately caught my eye. She had moved from Dubuque to Los Angeles only days after graduating from high school. How improbable is that?
What makes this even more improbable is how much our chance meeting in a course I did not have to take, Sustainable UD, attributed to me finding my place at UD. We met right after my first semester at UD, and while I was enjoying my role as a student, I was not active on campus life. I was 22 years old, and I had recently moved back to Dubuque from Los Angeles. And let me tell you, like every 22-year-old, I had everything figured out. I was ready to earn my diploma and get on with my life. During that Chance J-term course, I would find myself staying after class and asking Dr. Hoffman all sorts of questions related to the coursework. And while my peers probably saw me as a teacher's pet, which is kind of true, my curiosity was earnest and eager. I'm assuming Dr. Hoffman saw that in me too, because following the second day of class, he introduced me to the Calapity Fellowship Program and encouraged me to apply. That summer, I studied the North End Food Desert in Dubuque and its impact on preventable disease. I began to get to know Dr. Hoffman more as he would bring his kids to the food stand that I hosted on the North End and also to the organic farm I was working on. I knew I had made it into the Hoffman inner circle when I was asked to babysit his kids. Later, I just found out that half of the student body has babysat Maddie or Alton at one time or another, but I still consider myself in the inner Hoffman circle. Here I was finding my place on campus and getting paid for my independent undergraduate research and connecting with department chairs at top-ranked graduate school programs through the Kalafity Fellowship Program. How improbable is that?
Pretty improbable, but not as improbable as this. I wasn't even supposed to be a teacher. From a young age, I knew there was one job I did not want to do. My parents were both public school educators, so 10-year-old Adam promised that he would never, ever, 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 ever teach. Nor would he kiss girls if they had cooties. But if you saw 10-year-old Adam, you would know that to kiss a girl or not would not have been up to him. Even if I thought teaching was in my future, it wasn't going to be at Dubuque. I mean, how would a kid who grew up in Minnesota, awash in the land of 10,000 lakes, got his PhD in Wisconsin, the land of 10,000 cheeseheads, and end up putting down roots in the land of 10,000 cornfields? I ended up interviewing at the University of Dubuque, as though the job description was written exactly for me. But I ended up staying because of the outside opportunities. Including my roles as Melissa pointed out, Kalafity and Butler Summerall Fellowship programs, Went Character Center for Education, leading travel experiences, and mentoring student researchers. These activities did more than just connect me to the university, though. They connected my entire family. My wife Megan, my kids Alton and Maddie, and I think...
What makes this even more improbable is how programs like these and the connections that they foster led to my switch to sociology. In my remaining 2 years at UD, I switched my major to sociology, added a minor in gender studies, and joined the pre-law program. I got engaged, participated in a brief stint as an organic farmer, and took the LSAT. My husband Jacob and I were married in October of 2017, my senior year of college. A few months after we were married, Jacob and I found out we were expecting. I was 19 months pregnant when I walked across the stage to receive my diploma.
I kissed her as I handed her her diploma. Not Allison, my wife Megan. Like I was saying, the University of Dubuque has connected my entire family. My wife went back to school at UD and received her elementary education degree, and I surprised her by handing her diploma as she walked across the stage. However, at the same time, I disappointed 10-year-old Adam by giving her a kiss.
Like I was saying, I was 19 weeks pregnant when I walked across the stage to receive my diploma. Immediately following graduation, I was hired as a social worker at Iowa Legal Aid, and I've been there happily for a year and a half since. A chance course with Dr. Hoffman changed my entire life plan. I can't help but think how absolutely improbable that is.
What makes this even more improbable is that the daughter, a cutie named Ruth, of this nursing student turned sociology major turned organic farmer turned wife turned mother first rolled over at our house. Allison Jacobs' daughter Ruth has two huge fans in my kids, Maddie and Alton, and I could not have imagined that very first time meeting Allison that our kids would be enjoying each other's company. So Maddie and Alton have also made fond memories and connections with many UD students, and many are in the room tonight. My kids have collected water samples around the county with UD students in this room. My kids, as well chronicled, have been babysat by nearly every UD student in this room. Tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning.
8 o'clock? 8 o'clock, that's good.
8 o'clock, I'll be there.
Good. My kids have cheered on student athletes in this room, and my kids' lives have been made better by the UD students in this room. My 12-year-old daughter, Maddie, is quiet, tall, witty, analytical, and really loves learning. So she's a lot like me. And my son, Alton, is more like my wife. He always enjoys making my life more interesting, often through questions. Alton has always enjoyed ridiculous, hypothetical what-if questions, questions that Siri can't even answer. Here are some actual questions that I pulled from our 2014 Christmas card. So from 5-year-old Alton. What if Smokey the Bear was just joking when he told the firefighters there was a forest fire? And then he asked, what if our dog stood up and peed on Nana? What if my arm came off when I was swinging and you weren't there to catch me? These questions were always a collection of improbable events. And like Allison said, this evening we are going to share several improbable UD stories, stories that might not seem possible. There is a saying that I am fond of telling Alton when confronted by one of his newest types of questions. He has graduated from what-if questions to is it possible questions. These questions are easier to answer, though, and I always answer them in exactly the same way. What do I always tell you, Alton? Come on up here. Thank you.
It's actually pretty annoying. But he always says, it's possible, but not probable.
Nice. See, he has a little bit of his mom in him there. Well, tonight, Alton, Allison and I are going to make your life a little more interesting with a few is it possible questions of our own. Alton, let's quickly practice. Turn it on and stand up, buddy. Alton, is it possible that President Bullock will not mention the UD's mission tonight during his remarks?
It's possible, but not probable.
Alton, is it possible that my husband will go the entire evening without talking about craft beer?
It's possible, but not probable.
Alton, is it possible that UD beats Laura Saturday in football?
Okay, now that's certain.
All right. Yep, he's ready.
Alton, is it possible that a woman who graduated in 2014 from Iowa State University with a degree in animal ecology, who worked previously as a naturalist for 3 state parks and lived on a pontoon boat frozen into the Mississippi River the year prior to being admitted to UD, becomes editor-in-chief of UD's Bell Tower newspaper?
It's possible, but not probable.
Meet Emily Hynum. Emily is actually one of the students here this evening. After earning her degree in animal ecology from Iowa State, Emily worked seasonally as a naturalist at Custer State Park in South Dakota. She likes to say that her job was herding people away from buffalo. After another seasonal gig at Polk County Conservation, Emily was hired as a naturalist for Jackson County Conservation in Maquoketa, Iowa. Emily enjoyed her position at Jackson County Conservation. She especially enjoyed the groups of children that would come in. Emily would put on her teacher hat and educate children on topics ranging from insect lifestyles to Iowa's cultural history. For Emily, the field trips always ended too soon. It was at this time that Emily realized perhaps her calling was to be an elementary educator and to bring the environment into the classroom. Emily was admitted to UD last fall. She immediately thrived and completely immersed herself in campus life. She currently serves as the editor-in-chief of the campus's Bell Tower newspaper. Fun fact, now a magazine. After being in public service for a number of years, Emily now enjoys being able to be of service to herself and to her future students. According to Emily, it is freeing to have this time for self-reflection and growth. Emily attributes much of her success at UD to the supportive environment of the teaching department, who find ways to individualize the material and to aid her in incorporating her love of nature into the classroom setting. Emily plans to apply for a collaborative fellowship this winter to continue her research into project-based learning. Emily is not afraid to take the path least traveled. We are mutually fortunate that Emily's path includes the University of Dubuque. Let's give her a hand.
Alton, is it possible that a person born and raised in the socioeconomically challenged south side of Chicago, who is admitted to the University of Dubuque provisionally as a student in the Bridge program, works his way into a Kalapati Summer Fellowship position, graduates from law school, and becomes an assistant attorney general for the Illinois Attorney General's office only 5 years after graduating from UD?
I'm in 4th grade. Half of those words I don't even understand. Really socio comedy? Provisionally? How is anyone gonna believe that?
All right, stick to the script, buddy. Stick to the script.
Possible, but not probable.
Let me tell you all about Vincent Oba. There haven't been as many students in my time at UD who have worked harder or has much fun getting their degrees as Vincent. Upon applying to the University of Dubuque, his grades and test scores suggested that the Bridge program would be a good start. The Bridge program is a collaborative effort of multiple areas of campus that assists students who come to UD with the desire to learn, achieve their goals, and earn their degree, yet need help bridging the gaps that exist in their preparations for college. The program director explained it best to me. We believe that a particular number may not necessarily reflect who you are or what you can accomplish in life if given some extra support. And Vincent sure has accomplished a lot. Vincent was on the very first moot court team at UD back in 2013, and Vincent and his partner advanced all the way to the National Moot Court Tournament. I had the pleasure of interacting with Vincent in my role as faculty advisor for the Wendt Character Scholar Program. And Vincent added tremendous value to our small group discussions as well as our Character Week projects. He was also part of the Justice League and the football team during his time at the University of Dubuque, during which he studied sociology and criminal justice. Vincent attributes much of his successes to the academic activities that he engaged in at the University of Dubuque, specifically the Scholar Leader Program, which he singled out as a program that challenged him to be a better writer, speaker, and critical thinker. Well done, Vincent.
Alton, is it possible that a public relations director for a dance company in Ghana, Africa, who made a deal with himself that upon earning his degree, he would leave the United States and immediately return to Ghana, also was the person who couldn't work the technology in his classroom on the first day of teaching, ends up getting a PhD in digital media and becomes an internationally recognized scholar and department head of the communications department at the University of Dubuque?
Allison, how much extra allowance do you think my dad is going to pay me for doing this?
I don't know, maybe double?
Well, I know 2 times 0 is still 0. How do you do it?
It's possible, not possible.
Let me tell you about Dr. Franklin Yarte. Dr. Yarte personifies what it means to be an engaged professor. Franklin received his undergraduate degree from Northwestern College, and from his time there, knew he wanted to teach at a small private college, and that would allow him to foster personal connections to his students. Dr. Yarte attributes much of his success at UD to caring about the holistic well-being of students, faculty, and staff alike. He sends personal emails to students when they receive a job or internship opening and thinks that they would be well suited to them. He involves everyone in decisions he makes as the department chair, and he is a friend to all on campus. Dr. Yarte said, "At UD, I feel deeply connected to the mission. I aim to create an environment where Christian love is practiced, a place where academics are a focus, and a place where diversity is appreciated." His primary research focus is social media. Recently, he has received attention for his research examining online microfinance and third world women. One of Franklin's strengths is bringing his scholarship on the intersection of social media to the ethics into the classroom. Dr. Yarte recently received the Iowa Communications Association Outstanding New Teacher Award. A professor of Dr. Yarte's caliber could teach anywhere, yet he chooses to be at the University of Dubuque. Thank you, Dr. Yarte.
Alton, is it possible that a young lady studying education at the University of Dubuque is the first woman to chair the Iowa Professional Teaching Practices Commission, is invited to the White House to meet the president, and becomes the person with the coolest job title, campus mom, at the University of Dubuque?
Dad, I'm bored. How many more times do I have to do this?
Last one, I promise everyone.
It's the last one? It's possible, but not probable.
Let me tell you about Barb Smeltzer. I tried really hard, but I do not recall the first time I met Barb. Very mom-like, in my memories of UD, she is just always there. She hasn't always been at UD, it just feels that way. She was an undergrad student there and then spent 31 years teaching in the the Dubuque Community School System. In her role as campus mom, she does pretty much anything a mom would do, except according to her, laundry and cleaning. My favorite email every semester is when Barb sends out the message asking for volunteers for the finals feast, a communal meal served for free for any University of Dubuque student. Barb and her husband Jack are always serving as hosts, and they are by far the most popular people in the room. It was that room that one of my colleagues mentioned when he heard I was going to talk about Barb. He said, One of the best parts of my day is crossing that threshold into the cafeteria and being greeted by her warm smile. I love that when she asks, "How are you today?" she actually cares about your response. While I could speak volumes about the hospitality she provides me, I enjoy even more the looks on the faces of the students as they are greeted by her, receive hugs from her, and just have someone that cares about them outside of their academic performance, sports affiliation, or relationship status. Her presence on campus is priceless, and her contributions to our community cannot be measured. Barb has always held a respect for others, has an acute generosity, and an empathy for those less fortunate. She is quick to look back and thank others, yet what the future holds, thanks to Barb and Jack's generosity, is what I wish to thank them for. The soon-to-be-built Smeltzer Kelly Health Center will provide students with outpatient and preventative medical care that will have a lasting impact on the lives and health of thousands of future of University of Dubuque students. Let's give it up for Barb. All right, Allison, you can go ahead and wrap this up.
If we were talking to any other group of people this evening, they would say that the stories we told were isolated incidences or bizarre coincidences. However, we could go on and on, telling story after story for many more hours. But don't worry, we won't. We're not just speaking to a random group of people this evening. We're speaking to a group who knows what UD is capable of. We're speaking to you. And many of you have stories just as, or even more improbable than the ones we shared this evening. Stories of the improbable becoming commonplace stretch across campus. UD celebrates the worth of all students regardless of our differences. UD refuses to put limits on potential of students and faculty members and instead aims to foster a culture rich in creation and connection. We would be remiss if we did not recount one more improbable scenario this evening. Hey Alton, is it possible that a school on the brink of closing its doors due to financial instability with an endowment of just over $10 million that had to shed 32 majors and had incoming first-year classes of less than 200 students becomes the third largest fundraising school in Iowa and now enjoys the most diverse student body of all Midwestern private colleges? Well, I know, it's possible, not probable, right? Well, meet the University of Dubuque. The university now has over 2,200 students enrolled, has added campuses in multiple cities and states, has added the LIFE program to facilitate adult learners, has added a physician's assistant program which annually 500 students competitively apply for only 25 available spots, has built a new structure each and every year for the last 20 years, has spent over $110 million in projects over the past 15 years, and you know what? Each and every one of those dollars have been from generous donors, including Heritage Society members like you tonight. It is in these donations that have helped the endowment grow to over $150 million. Students today just can't imagine what campus was like 20 years ago. Talk about improbable. But you know what sets UD apart from other schools? UD's story is all of our stories. UD's story is the story of patience and hard work and grit. At UD, there is no improbable. There is just perseverance. UD is the kind of place that if you ask Sparty, a Sparty mascot, to attend a banquet on short notice and have it manned by a student who is supposed to be working that night, it becomes a reality. Sparty, on behalf of the University of Dubuque, is there anything that you would like to share?
Hey, it's Luke. Better known in my circle at UD as the best chemistry tutor on campus. Perhaps better known in this room as President and Dana Bullock's son. Is there anything that you would like to share, Luke, about the University of Dubuque?
Oh, we're a handsome young man.
Alton has shared something that his dad often says.
I would like to share something that my dad often says. The best is yet to come.
To the trustees, the Heritage Society members, the students, and the friends of the University of Dubuque in attendance tonight, we thank you for your commitment to seeing the University of Dubuque into its next chapter. We thank you for your vision and your trust.
Well, I'm certainly glad it's not me that has to follow that. The floor is yours.
Let's see. Alton, is it possible that President Bullock will give a speech without mentioning the M word?
It's possible.
Yeah, good job, good job. This was, I'm supposed to do an update. There's no update. You can't, that was just phenomenal. I mean, it was just outstanding. So, I mean, I'd hire you again. I would. I actually remember our interview. We'll leave that between us. No, this was absolutely outstanding. Thank you. And that was recorded, so I'd be on the good side of the social media, Professor Yardy. This will make its way around. So it was just absolutely wonderful. So, everyone, I hope you had a wonderful time, a wonderful evening. This was outstanding. I think very heartfelt for all of us. This is really an amazing place to be. It's a privilege to be able to work and play and not only, you know, what we often talk about here, students wouldn't know this, but you know, obviously our faculty and our staff community does a wonderful job forming and impacting students, but what you also need to know is the students do a wonderful job of forming and impacting all of us. That's what makes this place magical. So what a wonderful evening. It was, I'm glad somebody else took the shots at the school across the street, and I just hope I don't hear about it, but I will. Have a wonderful evening. Trustees, we've got an early morning tomorrow. We'll have a great meeting. All of you, thank you for your investment in the University of Dubuque and in its mission. Rats, I couldn't make it through. And have a good night. So I think one of the shortest and most beautiful benedictions goes like this. May the Lord be with you and with me while we are absent one from the other. And all God's people said, amen. One other thing I absolutely forgot. I think we should all give thanks to Katie. Where's Katie here? Katie, Melissa. Well, all of your team, please come out. So everybody that's been part of putting on this week, this event, this evening, these folks have planned, Dana, you're part of this. They've planned this for a year, and planning for next year's already started. So we really owe a lot to all of these people who've helped to make this such a wonderful opportunity in our advancement office, in our alumni relations office. You're doing a great job, and we're grateful to have you with us. Thank you all very much.